Yeah, welcome everybody. Marijuana Times Show. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's November 10th, 2017. Make sure you go over to marijuanatimes.org. Check out all the great writers, including myself and others, covering the latest in the cannabis community and industry for you. All the news and opinions you need, marijuanatimes.org. Of course, this is the Marijuana Times Show. You can find these videos on marijuanatimes.org as well. Got a lot of stories coming up. We continue our theme of the week of Chris Christie. It wasn't planned. It just happened that way. Also, some of the cities and states that came out big winners on election night, the other night, in terms of cannabis. And also, DEA spokesman Rusty Payne. You may have heard that name. Talk about what he said coming up as well. But first, I want to tell you about our awesome sponsor, Natureside Cannabis. If you're a cannabis grower, especially in places like Colorado and Washington and Oregon and California as well, among other places, if you need an all-natural organic pesticide, which you will for regulation purposes and because you don't want to be giving your customers harmful chemicals in the cannabis that you grow, naturesidecannabis.com. Check them out. They will even help you become regulatory compliant in your state. Go to naturesidecannabis.com. All natural pesticides developed and proven by pest control professionals and cultivators. You can see the Natureside IPM report there as well. Thank you to naturesidecannabis.com. And now the news. Again, still working on that transition. It's not tuned in yet. It's not honed in yet. Really not. It's not dialed in. That's what I'm looking for. That's the phrase I'm looking for. It's not dialed in yet. Still working on it. So leave a comment or whatever, wherever you find this video. Tell me what you think about what the transition should be. It's got to be better than what I just did. That was horrible. But anyway, to the news. This first story is from marijuanatimes.org. Julia Granowitz. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. That's what I get from reading it. I've read a ton of her stories, but I've never actually heard her name spoken. Julia Granowitz, New Jersey's new governor, says he will legalize cannabis. We talked a little bit about this the other day. Phil Murphy couldn't be more opposite from Chris Christie when it comes to marijuana legalization. I'm sure many other issues as well, but especially marijuana legalization, as we pointed out, and as I pointed out, and others have. Chris Christie takes every opportunity to bash the cannabis industry, the idea of legalization. He's compared marijuana to heroin and the opioid crisis. Murphy, on the other hand, said, quote, "The criminalization of marijuana has only served to clog our courts and cloud people's futures, so we will legalize marijuana. And while there are financial benefits, this is overwhelmingly about doing what is right and just." And apparently, I mean, the New Jersey legislature is all on board with what's going on with legalization. They just need a governor to sign that, and they now have a governor to sign a marijuana legalization measure, and New Jersey's new governor, Phil Murphy. Now, Chris Christie, who's riding off into the sunset with his apparently 14% approval ratings. As a matter of fact, here's the thing about Chris Christie. It's odd. And I was thinking about this last night. It's odd because for a politician to be so against something publicly and vocally that is popular, even the latest Gallup poll shows that 51% of Republicans nationwide feel that marijuana should be legalized. And yet Chris Christie continues his vocal, ignorant, quite frankly, opposition. But apparently he basks in his ignorance. And Chris Christie, he seems like one of those guys that dissent or low approval ratings or being on the wrong side of an issue, it doesn't seem to bother him. You know, check out here's a graph of his approval ratings from November 2012 to November 2016. It was down to a low of 20% there. I mean, you see the precipitous drop. Like in early 2013, he was over 70%. And it's basically been a slide since then. This in November 2016, this graph ends at 20%. Like I said, I think it's like around 14% now. He just doesn't seem phased. It doesn't bother him. Hopefully it dissuades him from coming back into politics. I mean, that would be good. If he would, like I said yesterday, if he would just stay away. Just stay away. Go into the, right off into the sunset in the private sector, like he said in an interview. Go make some money. All that's great. All for it. Just stay away from anywhere where you have any power over things you're so ignorant of, which includes marijuana legalization. So maybe I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but goodbye, Chris Christie. Go away. Go. Take your 14% approval rating in your beach chair and get moving. This next story is from inverse.com. As you know, a lot of elections, off-year elections as they call them, happened the other night, Tuesday night. This is states and cities where weed won this November, according to Inverse. Virginia elected Ralph Northam as governor. He's endorsed decriminalizing marijuana. Of course, New Jersey elected Phil Murphy as governor, as we just mentioned. And what he said about that, Rocky Ford, Colorado, voted to allow retail sales of marijuana. That one with 53% of the vote, so that's good. Detroit, Michigan passed two proposals on Tuesday, or voters there rather. They'll help make it easier for marijuana dispensaries to open and operate. Dispensaries in Detroit can now open within 500 feet of another dispensary, open within 500 feet of a religious institution, eliminated a previous ordinance, the measures did. They gave the city's Board of Zoning Appeals the authority to review applications. I don't get the feet thing. 500 feet. So if it's 501 feet away from a religious institution or a school or anything else, then it's okay. But it's 499 feet. It's bad. It's random, arbitrary things that people do to say to themselves, well, look, we're doing something. We're doing something. 500 feet, 1,000 feet. We're on top of this. But you're not. Athens, Ohio. Recreational marijuana use is still illegal in Ohio, but the passing of the Athens Cannabis Ordinance reduced the penalties for marijuana misdemeanor crimes. The ordinance is, quote, designed to redirect law enforcement resources toward more serious and violent crimes. Completely eliminates the fines that were previously in place, which is $150 for possession of up to 100 grams of marijuana and $250 for 100 to 200 grams of marijuana, which if you don't know 200 grams of marijuana is quite a lot. An ounce is 28 grams. So that was quite a big deal. In Athens, Ohio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's largest city voted for Lawrence Krasner to be his new district attorney, a progressive candidate who wants to end mass incarceration. One way to do that, Krasner believes, is to change the way the city handles nonviolent crimes like marijuana possession. His election, which he won 75% of the vote, that's impressive, is seen by marijuana advocates as a positive step towards major cities reforming the way the possession of marijuana is interpreted as a crime. You can check out that story on inverse.com. Now, this last story is very interesting. You may have seen it at this point. Basically, you can go back a little bit. And this is from WTHR.com, Channel 13. I read earlier this year that there was a CBD crackdown. You know, the little CBD vials and products that a lot of head shops and other places sell. They're even on like Target's website for a little while. They're legal in most states. They're federally illegal. The DEA has made that clear. CBD, no matter where you get it from or what purpose you use it for, is still marijuana and it's still illegal federally. So earlier this year, this Channel 13 in Indiana exposed a series of CBD raids conducted by state excise police and the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission. Excise officers confiscated CBD oil products from dozens of stores across Indiana, citing the businesses with violating the law for state law for possessing marijuana. That's not a waste of time at all. That's, you're on the ball. Immediately following WTHR's report, state officials met at the governor's office to discuss these raids. The meeting prompted the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission to impose a moratorium on the agency's CBD crackdown. And excise police were ordered to stop confiscating CBD oil products until the Attorney General can issue a clarification of the state law. Attorney General spokesman Jeremy Brilliant told 13 Investigates this summer, quote, "There's a lot of confusion about this topic even within the state government. Our attorneys are trying to figure out exactly what is legal and what is not." The point is, of course, that CBD is federally legal, but is that what you want to use your resources on? Raiding places for CBD oil? Anyway, the most interesting part of this story, and I'll bring it up here on the screen, and scroll down here a little bit. They had a question and answer session with DE spokesman Rusty Payne, and they're talking to him about, and the story also goes into the story of this child who was helped greatly with, CBD, as, many, many children have found help with CBD and other cannabis products. WTHR asked him, Rusty Payne, what would you tell the mom and dad who are buying this stuff and giving it to their kids because it helps them get through the day? Payne, am I speaking as a DEA spokesman or as a father? Because I am a dad. As a father? And WTHR said yes. Here's what Rusty Payne of the Drug Enforcement Administration said. Quote, "I do the exact same thing without hesitation. I cannot blame these people for what they're doing. They're not a priority for us," meaning the DEA. "It would not be an appropriate use of federal resources to go after a mother because her child has epileptic seizures and has found something that can help and has helped. Are they breaking the law? Yes, they are. Are we going to break her door down? Absolutely not, and I don't think she'll be charged by any U.S. attorney." Now, hopefully, he's right about all that. Because all that is, and this is not only news because it's from a Drug Enforcement Administration, it's kind of against what they do. But what this guy said contains so much common sense that it's jarring. I was jarred just reading that. Because it sounds like it's coming from somebody, who's not a Drug Enforcement Administration spokesman. "It would not be an appropriate use of federal resources to go after a mother because her child has epileptic seizures and has found something that can help and has helped." Wow. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, hold on. First time I've clapped on the show. I'll do this, when necessary. Rusty Payne. Good for you. The story goes on. Whoops. By the way, WTHR or THR.com, I'm not a fan of the way your site scrolls. That's jarring. They said, WTHR continued, "While that may come as welcome news to the thousands of Hoosiers who use CBD oil, it does not resolve the uncertainty many families are feeling while waiting for clarification from the state." And that's absolutely true as well. Law has to be more specific. You can't rely on Rusty Payne. I mean, if you get raided by the authorities and your CBD oil is taken, and your business is destroyed, and you're charged with crimes, you can't say, "Well, Rusty Payne told me it would be cool." That's not going to be a defense in court. As much as we appreciate Rusty Payne, that's not enough. Law needs to change. Marijuana needs to be legal. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here for the most part, and that's fine. And by the way, please share, like these videos, and so we can, spread the truth about cannabis more to other people here at the Marijuana Time Show. But I have to point out the obvious. If marijuana is legal for adult use, then it's legal for medical use, then it's legal for CBD oil, or whatever. Now, of course, with children, even under legalization, there's going to have to be a medical marijuana apparatus. Your parents and the doctor approve, and they administer cannabis to the child. That's fine. But for anybody over 21, I think the age should be 18, but it's fine. It's going to be 21, as it looks like, in the U.S. at least. And it's fine. But you can't, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? If marijuana is legal and doesn't have massive restrictions and massive taxes, and it's legal for any reason, then it doesn't matter what your reason is. If you have a medical reason or whatever. Now, see, under the Children's Medical Marijuana Program, there could be stipulations, well, this person needs to grow a lot to make tinctures or whatever. All that will be worked out down the line, hopefully. But if it's legal for adult use, then CBD oil is legal. You can go in the bus store, buy it, and use it. Like I said, under a medical marijuana program, which would be easy if adult use is legal everywhere. Setting up a medical marijuana program for CBD oil for kids or something like that shouldn't be that hard. Many states already have CBD laws. And federal law needs to change. Federal law absolutely needs to change. Because it hovers over everything like the specter of evil just waiting to pounce. Anyway, that's the Marijuana Time Show for today, November 10th, 2017. If you want to sponsor the Marijuana Time Show, please let us know, like the awesome folks at Natureside Cannabis, all natural pesticides. Thanks to them. Email us info@marijuanatimes.org if you would like to be a sponsor of the Marijuana Time Show. I am Joe Klare, and we'll see you all next time.